I'm Louise.
I'm Ania.
And we're going to talk today one of our favorites, wine blends.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say one of our favorites because I don't know if you're like me, but
Or me.
back in the day, yes, I actually always walked past wine blends. I didn't understand them.
Or thinking they were just like crappy wines. Like, well, ew, look at this.
Like the bucket that you have in a vineyard.
Yeah, that you spit in. If you ever saw Sideways,
yes.
Right? When he drinks the bucket of all this.
That to me,
that's
what I thought
was red blends.
And I was like, And then I realized that I was wrong.
Exactly. Well, and here's the thing, too. There was a time in my life when maybe about 15 to 20 years ago, that there
when you
was...
were 12?
Exactly. I love that answer. There was this group of wines that were Luna de Luna, which you can still get, and it was always like this wine and this wine, this wine and this wine. We're going to talk about why they pair wines up together, but today, like, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But right now, let's talk about why people do wine blends and why you shouldn't be afraid of them.
So before we talk about wine blends,
yes,
I think it's important for you to know that even if, let's say, you're drinking Merlot, that bottle might not have 100% Merlot grape in.
Good.
So some of the wine that you're currently drinking, thinking it might have a little bit of a different grape in it to help with flavors, but there are guidelines in order to put that specific wine name on the bottle instead of calling it a red blend.
Right. So every country is a little bit different. So in the US, it's 75% of the wine has to be that specific grape. So if you're doing a Merlot, 75% have to be a Merlot grape. What about in Europe?
Oh my gosh, so Europe actually has 80%. So what's making it interesting, so New World wine, right? America, you have 75%, so they have a little bit of more wiggle room to kind of make that juice taste with the vintner ones.
Yes.
But Europe is saying,
we're making it more stringent.
Yeah. So it actually showcases the ability to grow and create that quality because you have less room to wiggle.
And that is really important to know, and why, especially we'll talk about price in a little bit, but
now we're going to go really, so we went from New World to Europe.
Old World. And now older. What about Argentina?
85%.
That is a hard number to use, a hard percentage to use to come up with a good wine. So, so when you look at the price of these bottles too, sometimes you're like, wow, keep that in mind that a single varietal has to have only 75% for New World in the US, but in Argentina it's 85%. Okay.
So now that we got that out of the way,
let's talk.
Exactly. Now we can talk about the red blend, which is, oh my gosh. So what I didn't know, and now that I know, the more you know.
The more you know.
It's actually the art of wine. It allows the vintner the ability to create beauty by combining different grapes and looking at the strength of this grape, and then let's pull this in to see how it balances it out. There are some people that will follow a winemaker from wherever this person goes to the next vineyard based on their red blend. It's almost like their signature, which is pretty powerful.
And it really truly, because it comes down to, they are the chef of that wine. It's like an amazing recipe, right?
Yeah.
Like you have this amazing recipe and you're looking at it and that chef perfects it, like the way you expect it to be. That is exactly what's happening with the red blend.
So they don't just go and just dump whatever's left at the end and then just combine it and say, here you go.
Like what's left in the back, let's just throw it in a vat. No. But so with a red blend though, one grape varietal is always standing out first, which is usually about 50% of that juice is from one particular grape. And then an additional maybe one or two different grape varietals out of there.
What's also interesting is as we were kind of looking at different wine blends, something jumped out. And it's the fact that they will start off the production in steel tank.
And that's actually a good point too. When it comes to price of these wines, a lot of these blends are done fermented in a stainless steel tank for the purpose of making sure that they can keep costs down. But sometimes they will finish it in an oak barrel. And so when you're looking at these blends and you're one just assuming, oh, this is the the leftovers in the back, and then two, you see the price tag, you're gonna realize like, wait a second, maybe there's something more to it.
Absolutely.
And that means the chef of that wine, that vintner, actually chose those specific grapes to put together and make that perfect blended juice for that wine, and then fermented it old world style in oak barrels. So
now you will find most of the time, especially in United States when you're shopping, it's a red blend.
Yes.
Now with white, there is really not a white blend. No. Unless you're in a specific European regions that might need to add a little bit to have like that finish that they want.
Right.
But now white, like, why don't we find that?
So with a white grape too, it's going to be with red grapes. It's a little bit harder to, or I should say, it's more of a science or an art when it comes to the red grapes. With the white grapes, you don't have much room. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have much room to really play around. The only time you really see it is like, again, with that Luna de Luna type of wine, where it'll say Pinot Grigio and Chardonnay or something mixed together, and it really just truly could be because of the fact that the white grapes just weren't strong enough for them to come up with a good wine on its own. So that's where they have to combine the two types of grape varietals. So, but the majority of the time, the blends you're going to see are red, varietals. But don't be afraid of them.
No, I was going to say the best way to start your wine journey is actually probably with a red blend.
Yeah.
You get to really learn a lot about a brand. So it showcased truly a lot in the red blend. And I urge you, if you haven't had a red blend, try it.
Try it. Find out too. One thing that you can do is if it's not listed on the bottle, ask if you're at the liquor store, ask them, okay, I'm looking for a red blend. Can you tell me which one is majority is a Cabernet Sauvignon or something, and try it out that way and see what happens.
And they have, sweet red blends. They have dry and anything in between.
There's so many different varieties. Exactly. Don't think because it's red, it has to be dry. It can totally be a sweet wine as well. And there's so much wiggle room and so much to play with in that arena.
Absolutely.
Anything else about this? What are we talking about? I think that was it.
I think we got it.
Maybe we just need to drink red blend next time. So, all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Louise.
I'm Ania.
And don't forget to subscribe.